everyone, and welcome back to another video. Now, in a previous video, I defined the inverse incomplete beta function as follows. I said that if you take the incomplete beta function of the inverse incomplete beta function, then this will just return the value x. In fact, this is actually how I defined the inverse incomplete beta function. Now, in a future video, in the set part 2 of the gravitation playlist, I used the relationship that if you take the inverse incomplete beta function of the incomplete beta function, then this will return the value of x. And this isn't actually how I define the inverse incomplete beta function, so therefore we actually need to prove that this is true. So what we're really asking is, if f of f inverse of x is equal to x, does that mean that f inverse of f of x is equal to x? Okay, and this is the relationship that we want to try and prove. So, what I'm going to do is start from this equation, because this equation is indeed true of my inverse incomplete beta function, because this is how I define the function. And I'm going to shove f of x into 1. So I'm going to shove f of x into the arguments of equation 1. So we get f of f inverse of f of x will be equal to, well, I've just replaced x with f of x, so on this side will just also be f of x. Okay, so this is now something which looks like something in there. So what I'm going to do now is take the inverse of both sides. So if I now take the inverse of both sides, then I will get that f inverse of f inverse of f of x. So how many brackets have we got? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4 is equal to, now we take the f inverse of this side. So that will give us f inverse of f of x. Okay, now I'm going to rewrite this in a way which may make the solution look more obvious. So now we have here f inverse of f of this thing here. So we have f inverse of f of x is equal to, well, now we have f inverse of f of x. I'm going to write this in red. Okay, so what this equation is saying, that if you take the inverse of the function of this red thing, then it spits out this red thing. Now, we don't necessarily know what this red thing is, but, I mean, given that this is true for everything that you put in here, you know, I could write, therefore, you know, inverse f of something is equal to something. Then if I let this something be x, then it better bloody well be true that I get x. So therefore, if we now tidy this up, then therefore, indeed, the inverse function of f of x will be equal to x. which proves that indeed this formula is true, and indeed that my relation that I used in the second gravitation video was in fact legitimate. So there we go. Thank you for watching.